Why do I make hip hop? Why did I start, or why do I make it now? Well, partly because I tried to get a job and couldn't find a job. I was looking for a day job for 5 years and couldn't find a job. So I was like, well, I retired, and then I was like, let me get back into this. But nah, hip hop to me, actually, when I started, I was making funk. Like when I was a kid, I was a bass player, and I was really heavily into funk. My parents had record collections. I would go buy old funk records. I'd be like 9, 10 years old buying funk records. No, I didn't buy G.I. Joes and all that shit. I only bought records. And I wanted to play in a funk band, but I couldn't find nobody to start a band. And I got into hip hop because of sampling. If rap didn't start sampling, I would have never gotten into hip hop. And by recognizing the records that I used to play bass to and the samples, that intrigued me. I was like, yo, they took this little part and looped it, and at first I didn't like rap really. I just I was intrigued by the sample part. I didn't even know that's what it was called. I was just like, yo, that's Kool and the Gang, that's the Meters, that's James Brown, and I was like, wow. But then I was maybe 11 to 12, 13, so you're starting to go into puberty, and then little by little the lyrics, you're just starting to notice girls, and cursing sounds kind of cool to you, like, yo, they're cursing. Like, people didn't curse on records up to that point. So little by little, because I got into the music, just the experience of the rappers, started to appeal to me. And then things I was going through in my life, like, you get stopped by the cops, you deal with racism, you deal with puberty, you're going to school, you're not relating to what the teachers are teaching, and all these things are on the records. So rap kind of became like a big brother to me. So I got into it at first it was because of the sampling, but then eventually it was like, yo, I felt like these guys were like older brothers or cousins or uncles, like kicking game, and that's what no other genre of music could speak to my generation like that. So that's why I got into it, and eventually I wanted to do it myself. Yeah, I taught myself how to make beats. Well, actually, my first, I had like a little cheap sampler I started with, sample for 2 seconds, and if you messed up, you had to start over, because you could only layer on top of it. You had to keep going, and if you made a mistake or you were off, you'd have to delete it. It was like a Casio thing. Then I got an SP1200, and I bought it. I worked a summer job for 2 years, saved up to buy it, and I couldn't figure it out. I was about 15 years old, and I was frustrated, because I wasn't used to using equipment like that. There was a guy, his name was Mike. He used to work at Manny's Music in 48th Street, which is no longer there. And I went back to where I bought it from. I was like, yo, man, can you teach me how to use this thing? And my pops drove me out to his apartment in Jersey City, and he gave me a 1-hour tutorial on the SP1200, just basic info. And then I took that home. He was like, now that you know the basics, now you can read the manual. Because like, if you just read the manual, you're gonna get fucked up. So, he taught me, I always remember that guy taught me the basics. But I learned the rest on my own, just trial and error. Hip hop album? Whew. That's a hard question, because rap is generational. So records that are important to you aren't going to be, as important as other records to different people. But I would say, one record I would say is one of the Public Enemy albums. Nation of Millions is the one that, to me, did the most to change rap. But I would say Fear of a Black Planet, just because it's my personal choice. So Nation of Millions is the textbook answer. Fear of a Black Planet is my personal answer. I would say Ice Cube, America's Most Wanted, because to me that embodies what rap is about, like knowledge. And Ice Cube was like a hoodlum, but then he was smart. So the duality of the human mind is best exemplified in early Ice Cube albums like Death Certificate and America's Most Wanted. Like, it just shows the flaws. Like, he's ignorant, but then he's trying to learn. He's socially conscious and he's political, but he's also drinking 40s and chasing hood rats. Like, your average person, because you would always have rappers that were preachy, and you had rappers that were super hoods, So I just felt Ice Cube, was a good balance. And his albums were just the way I feel an album should sound. So I would say, the PE, Nation of Millions or Black Planet, Death Certificate or America's Most Wanted, depending on, you know, any of those. And another one I would say, although I wouldn't put it in my top 5, I would say it's one of the most important. I would say De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising, just because it broke so many rules. Because rap was always super bravado and machismo and gold chain, you know, and you had guys coming out with like pop culture references, and they were, you know, kind of quirky, and they were goofing off, and it just showed a lighter side of hip hop that people might not know. But at the same time, De La Soul weren't no chumps. They were like conscious. They knew what was up. They had a, you know, Say No Go was a powerful drug record. I think they just, you know, I always say People's Instinctive Travels and 3 Feet High and Rising were the records that kind of just showed how broad rap could be, and it's still hardcore hip hop. You know, so I would say, you know, if I were to pick, I would say Fear of a Black Planet, America's Most Wanted, and 3 Feet High and Rising, to me, are the ones that were the most important. Everything. Concepts, rhymes, production, execution, sequencing, what they meant, how they changed rap at the time, the impact culturally, and just how they hold up over time. They just hold up so well. My favorite rap album of all time is Tim Dog, Kind of Sewn on Wax. Like, I'm never gonna deny it. Tim Dog is #1, but, you know, being completely objective, like what really impacted the music, I would say those 3. Woo! Wow. Hip hop's best year. I'm not with that politically correct textbook stuff, because like I said, rap is generational. I mean, if you're 24 years old, you're not going to say 94. If you're 45 years old, you're not going to say, you know, 98. You know, it's just me. My personal favorite year would probably be 1990. 90 or 91. It's a toss up, but I'd probably go with 90. Well, okay, 90 is my personal favorite just because of just Fear of a Black Planet and America's Most Wanted, just the back-to-back. And then a lot of the smaller albums, like, you know, you have your King Son, you have Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, People's Instinctive Travels, Step in the Arena was at the end of the year. But 1991 was the year of the album. Like, albums got so great. Like, competition was so crazy in 1991. I mean, the Black Sheep, Tribe, NWA, EPMD, Tim Dog, Ghetto Boy, Scarface. Like, you had all these albums. So I mean, you know, objectively I would say 91. Subjectively I would say 90. It's cliche and it's textbook to say there's no good music. I think there's a lot of good music. I think that you have to work harder to find it. When I was growing up, you could turn on MTV Raps, you turn on the radio, and you could hear the Humpty Dance, you could hear all these dope songs. You know, the way it is now, rap is a business. It's corporate. So they're trying to sell product, and everybody's concerned with branding. So rap that tells it like it is, rap that's true artistry, you're not going to see it because it has no agenda for branding. It's just expression. So you have to search deeper for it. Most of the stuff that's on the surface is trash. You know, a lot of it's just crappy music. It's being blunt. Like, a lot of the shit sucks. But there is a lot of great music being made. I just think you have to. The internet is a great platform. I mean, you have guys just putting stuff out on Bandcamp. I mean, people look down on that, like, yo, how come you can't get major? How come you're just doing these little indie things? But you have to realize it's all about branding, and if you're not going to behave and talk about certain things that help branding and help the machine move forward, then you're going to have to do it on your own. And I think there's a lot of talented artists that just work below the radar, and you have to look for it, you know. It's not for me, you know. It's not for me. Rap, like I said, rap's generational. It's a very generational genre of music, and rap is not about music mostly. It's about nostalgia. Why do people like this album? Because I like, 36 Chambers is a great album, You know, I always felt that Wu-Tang Forever was better, but 36 Chambers was like, yo, we were in high school, that was the first time we heard it, yo, they came out mad raw, you know. The memories that surround the music are 90% of how we look at these albums more than the music. The music was great, but it's the memories. And guys can continue to make great music until they're 50 years old, but you're always going to remember that album you heard when you were 16 because you got your car, or you had it in your Walkman, or your team won a state championship, or you lost your virginity, whatever it is. That soundtrack is going to bring you back to a better place in life before you had bills, before you had stress. So the nostalgia factor, we're always going to go back to a time that was better, and I think that's part of it. It's a good question. I would say like a lot of the most underrated artists to me are guys from the golden era who didn't play themselves and chase a check and try to stay relevant. They just continue to make blue collar music. Your Cormegas, your Freddie Foxes, your Sadat X's, your Master Aces. Like, I mean, they still resonate with crowds that, in Europe and all that stuff, but they quietly continue to make music that fits their age group, that's true to what they do, and, the media kind of moves on. Like, they were front and center years ago, and now they're just pushing along. They're still appreciated. They have lots of fans. They tour. They're working artists, but the media kind of shifted away from them, but I think they're underrated in that they got older in their 30s and 40s and they didn't play themselves by trying to be, they got kids who are in high school and they're not trying to cater to that audience because that's just whack. James Brown. I'm not saying it's a guilty pleasure because I don't like it, but I thought Ice Ice Baby was kind of funny. Like when it came out, I was laughing. Like I didn't think it was dope, but I was like, why is everybody getting so mad? Like it's just a stupid song. Like the way he was like rolling, like he was like missing beats, like his timing was all off. I thought it was funny. Like I thought the shit was pretty funny. And he had like the Vans. I didn't take it serious, but I was like, why are people getting so angry? Like I just thought he was funny. Woo! Favorite hip hop beat of all time has got to be probably Public Enemy, Brothers Gonna Work It Out. Okay. I would actually probably Dead or Alive or just anything. I mean, I'm a drummer, and I started playing drums, and I'm still learning and I'm studying. I would like to tour with like Max Roach as a jazz drummer and just watch how he works every night, playing jazz like that. Like I'm just so bewildered by that. I'd like to just be a fly on the wall while he's on stage, like behind the drum kit, just aerial view, watching him and then seeing how he prepares and shit. Like that would be crazy. Me and my rhyme partner Al Sheed got stranded in France. The promoter boogied on us and didn't pay us our money, and he got on a train and went to Bordeaux, and we were stuck in Nantes, and we had barely any money. We just had enough money to get a train ticket, and it was like, are we gonna go back to Paris, wait 24 hours and get our flight home, or are we gonna take a risk, spend the last of our money, go to the next city where the show is, find the promoter, beat his ass, and get our money? And I wanted to go back to Paris because I was like, yo, if we go there and we don't find him, we're just stuck in France. And Sheed and our tour DJ were like, no, he's gonna go to the venue tonight. He's got to. He's the promoter. And we went and we beat his ass and got our money. Japan. Favorite city away from home? I'd probably say, oh boy. Ooh. That's hard. Copenhagen. Whew. In a dingy, small bedroom, and couldn't wait to get out of there. It wasn't a good experience. I don't have a great war story about that one. It was just like, oh, that wasn't what it was supposed to be. Baddest chick of all time, Sally Richardson. Favorite food, tuna steak. I don't drink alcohol. I'm into juicing and shit. Like I got one of those Jack LaLanne juicers, so I get busy. So I got this little 6 or 7 produce super juice thing that I do, and you know I like that. It's usually like beets and like celery and apples and ginger. I like ginger. I like spice, so it's a lot of ginger. And it's, you know, I'm really into the juicing thing, so it's probably one of my own juices. Hollywood Shuffle. The White Shadow. 70s TV show about South Central Los Angeles. A white ball player from the Bulls gets injured, and he's a high school basketball coach, and he's basically coaching in the hood, and it's like they have all these different problems, and it's like a team. Like they got the token Italian guy, the token Jewish guy, the token Mexican, and the rest of the team is black. Yeah, but it's a drama. It was an hour-long drama. It was real. At the time, it was very controversial because they explored a lot of topics that TV wouldn't touch back then. I wake up early, probably rap life is early, like 7:30 or something. I live with my grandmother who's 91, so I get her breakfast ready and make sure my grandmother is set up. And then you have a nurse come, so I basically get my grandmother's stuff ready. I eat my breakfast, I read the internet, see what's going on. Go to the gym, work out, run errands, come back. I practice drums for a few hours. I do social media. I have a short attention span, so I'll do drums, then I'll do some writing. I might go to the library and do writing, and go back to social media. Work on music, on and off throughout the day, and then I do that for like a duration of work day. And sometimes if I'm busier, I'll work longer. It depends on what I need. But like once I get back from the gym and doing mail outs, post office, groceries, whatever, then I just work. I just jump from thing to thing all day long until whatever work I have is done. Yeah, not suspended, but I had in-house suspension, like detention. A week, twice. One time me and my best friend got into a fight, but then we made up like right on the spot. They just gave us detention because we were fighting. And one time, it was actually in my book, and I was young, so you gotta forgive me for this, but Audio 2's second album had just come out, and there's a song called What You're Looking At, and it's like super homophobic, and I was just running around school like quoting the lyrics, like word for word. And like back then it was a different time. Now they wouldn't tolerate it, but back then rap had a lot of anti-gay lyrics, and I was just not knowing what I was saying. I was like 13, just going around singing the lyrics to the song, and the teachers wasn't having it. They got in trouble. My first job was during the summer, custodian in my junior high school, and in my old elementary school. Like you work, it was connected with the school district. Like you go in and you sweep floors, you paint the classrooms, you bring the desks back in. Just like we worked with the custodians in the school. They would hire high school kids to help. So I did that for a couple of summers in high school. First car was a 1986 Subaru station wagon. It was a lemon. The timing belt died at 30,000 miles. The car was like 10 years old already when I got it. It only had 30,000 miles. I think somebody set the odometer back on it. And I had that shit, the timing belt died. It just kept dying on me. And I had it about a year and then it just crapped out. Oh man, well today, since it's fresh in my memory, definitely Rudy Giuliani. I hate that motherfucker. Like, I hate him with a passion. Like, it's time for a crime wave, man. Like, it's time for a crime wave. Me and the squeegee men versus Rudy. Like, it's gotta happen. Somebody who just took a lot of risks and had a lot of fun and was always true to himself and just didn't give a fuck about anything else. Just stayed true to his thing. Yeah, I just finished an album. I'm in a group called Super Black, and it's me and Prince Paul and Sasha Jenkins. I'm the vocalist slash rap guy, and I play all the drums on the record. Prince Paul is producing it. Sasha is like the brainchild behind it. He kind of puts these things together. He played the bass and guitar parts, and we're gonna start mixing soon. I'm working on a couple of production projects that are still on the low. I got a 7-inch single of 45. I do those series of those, so twice a year I put out a 45. And I Smell Smoke / Time for a Crime Wave. Double-sided, one instrumental track, one vocal track. That comes out April 2nd. I'll probably do a follow-up to Lunch Breaks, which is my live drum break thing. I'm doing a bunch of studio drumming. I did some stuff for like Danger Mouse. I did some stuff for R.A. the Rugged Man. Like just replaying drum breaks for guys. So I've been doing a lot of studio drumming lately. And just I scored music to a film called Fresh Dressed, which is a Sasha Jenkins film. Nas is involved with the film, and I was part of the team that scored the music for that. So I have that coming out. And I write a column for Medium, Q Point. From time to time I keep my writing sharp. So just continuing to just push along, and I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, but I do it my own way. So that's that. There's a couple of sneaky ones in there, so you got to pay attention. All right.